principle applies to whatever you sell. For example, BMW became the largest selling luxury German car, outsells Mercedes by focusing on one word, driving, the ultimate driving machine. And Volvo became the largest selling European imported car in the U.S. market by focusing on safety. Of course, it helps that a Volvo kind of looks like a tank. I mean, it looks safe. A Ferrari looks dangerous, just parked at the curb. That's why Volvo can run an ad comparing themselves to a tank. The execution is different, but the concept is basically the same. And take spaghetti sauce. The leading brand of spaghetti sauce is Ragu. Ragu comes in 6 different varieties. Used to have 51% of the market, no more. Ragu's market share today is 37% of the market. Why? Because they were attacked by a spaghetti sauce called Prego with one variety, just one. But you see, Prego's so thick. We're thick. And Prego has 27% of the market with one variety. The most powerful concept in marketing today is owning a word in the mind. Federal Express owns overnight. Domino's owns home delivery. Little Caesars owns takeout. BMW owns driving. Volvo owns safety. Prego owns thick. Now, interestingly enough, if you find the right word, it can last forever. Crest got in the mind by being the first cavity-fighting toothpaste in 1956. Today, Crest is still the #1 brand of toothpaste, and still is the cavity-fighting toothpaste. Owning a word in the mind is one of the most powerful ways to build a successful marketing program. That's the law of focus. The most powerful concept in marketing is owning a word in the mind. Interestingly enough, if you can own one word in the mind, the prospect will give you many others. Not everybody can be a leader, but there's good news. It's the law of duality. In the long run, every market becomes a 2-horse race. So there's an opportunity for 2 brands in every category. Take the cola field. Coke was first. Coke is powerful. But there was an opportunity for Pepsi-Cola to become the second brand. However, if you're the third brand, like Royal Crown Cola is, you're in for serious problems. Because really, there's only room for 2 brands in the mind. And actually, there's only room for 2 brands in the supermarket. Now, take another example, orange juice. A number of years ago, Procter & Gamble, really a powerful marketing organization, decided to introduce an orange juice called Citrus Hill. But Citrus Hill was #3 in a category. We had 2 big leaders. We had Minute Maid and we had Tropicana. There was no room for Citrus Hill. Procter & Gamble spent 10 years trying to get Citrus Hill into the supermarkets and into a successful brand. It never made it. It lost money 10 years in a row, and they finally killed the brand, and it cost them $200 million to shut it down. Wherever you look today, where the category is mature, you find 2 major brands. Athletic shoes, we got Nike and Reebok, and everybody else is very small. In airplanes, worldwide, we have 2 brands, Boeing and Airbus. And McDonnell Douglas, the 3rd largest maker of airplanes, is in trouble. Wherever you look today, you find the same phenomenon. 2 brands dominate the category. In batteries, it's Eveready and it's Duracell. In mouthwash, it's Scope and Listerine. In tires, it's Michelin and Goodyear. In toothpaste, it's Crest and it's Colgate. Every single category tends to have 2 brands. Take political parties. In the United States, we have the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. 2 parties dominate the category. As a matter of fact, if you look around the world today, where you find two major political parties, you find political stability. It's only when you have one party that you find, incipient dictatorships, or if you have multiple parties, you have greater instability of government. In government, in brands, wherever you look, two brands will long-term dominate the category. That's the law of duality. Now that we know that there's always room for two brands in a market, the question is, how do you become a strong number two? Since we talked about the law of duality, you might be interested in how you get to be number two if you weren't the leader. Well, that is the law of the opposite. If you're shooting for second place, your strategy is determined by the leader. You have to do the opposite of what the leader does. There's a philosophy here. In strength, there is weakness. Take the dinosaur. The dinosaur is the most powerful animal that ever walked the earth. But what is the weakness if you happen to weigh 20 tons? You know what the weakness is? You have to eat 2 tons of cereal for breakfast just to maintain your weight. Now, some scientists think that when an asteroid hit the Yucatan and kind of blocked out the sun for a couple 100,000 years, these poor guys never got enough to eat and they died out. So there is always weakness inherent in strength. Take the big, powerful Kodosaurus. It's what I like to call Kodak. They have 85% of the amateur photographic film business in America. 85%. Now, we were asked to develop a program for 3M, which is the leading manufacturer of private label photographic film, but they wanted to launch a brand. So here's what we said. Look, where is Kodak strong? Everywhere. Anywhere you go in the world today, you can buy Kodak film. Now, what is the weakness inherent in that universal availability? Well, the weakness is that, they manufacture film like you make bananas, that you pick them green and they ripen on the shelf. That film ripens on the shelf. That's not the way they sell professional film. They sell professional film refrigerated, so it's ready to use. It's mature, ready to go. So we suggested to 3M that they launch a brand of amateur photographic film called True Color. It's the first refrigerated film. Now, you can't sell that everywhere. But we said, well, that's okay. Sell it in the supermarket in a 6-pack. And tell the customers to take the 6-pack home and put it in the refrigerator, and it's ready to go. That didn't fly at 3M, but I think that's still a very good idea for somebody who wants to be number 2 in the photographic film business. Take another example that did fly. We were working for a bank in the state of New Jersey called United Jersey. Now, United Jersey competes with the big banks. Banks like Citibank and Chase Manhattan Bank. Where's a big bank strong? A big bank is strong because they got a lot of money, got a lot of people, they're very big, they got a lot of resources. What is the inherent weakness if you're big? Well, big institutions are slow. So we said to United Jersey, you're the fast-moving bank. I'll never forget, the chief executive said, I'm sorry, Al. Our bank is no faster than Citibank. We're no faster than Chase. And we said, that's okay. If you're shooting for second place, your strategy is determined by the leader. Therefore, you've got to change the bank. You've got to change everything you do so that you can become the fast-moving bank. So that's what they did. They changed all their procedures of